Hey, Shalom Markins of Karmak Partial from GMS London, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chachadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful elect, pushing this truth in all sincerity. Back again with another video, and this is was inspired by this tweet here, or what you call this thing now, that was taken a while ago, or a proper while ago, right? And it, saying President Trump had said concerning Iran's oil, right? Because the point of this video is Esau hasn't changed. Okay, he can't change, right? He is the same devil. He has always been throughout history, And as much as you Edomites don't want to acknowledge that, you so-called white people don't want to acknowledge that you're the Edomites, right? There's a reason why you're the way you are. It's not completely your fault, but you are what you are, and you're going to be punished for what you do, right? But this tweet here just shows you like you don't change, man. You just want to steal everything from everybody, right? And you don't care, what methods you use to get it, okay? But it's got to be yours because you're a highly covetous race of people, all right? And being covetous is not good, right? Because it leads you to do all kind of madness in order to obtain or take things that don't belong to you, all right? But this has always been you, okay? You've always taken things that don't belong to you, right? Killed, murdered, stolen for your own purposes, right? So anyway, this tweet here from the, was it Kobayashi letter, right? It said breaking. President Trump tells the Financial Times he wants to take the oil in Iran, right? And this is why you're always in other people's countries, because there's something you want or want to take from it. Otherwise, you'd have no business there, right? It says, and could seize the export hub of Karg Island, right? It says, quote, right? This is what he said, quote, right? It says, to be honest with you, my favorite thing is to take the oil in Iran, right? His favorite, what he wants to do, what he's in favor of, right? Is to take the oil in Iran, right? But some stupid people back in the US say, why are you doing that? But they're stupid people, said Trump, all right? So, like I said, these, especially these, not that Trump is an elite of the elites, he's not, right? He's just a puppet of the elites, right? But he's there doing the elites bidding, right? Their desire is to take. They're insatiable, right? There is death and cannot be satisfied, right? So let me open up that. Say, yeah, well, I can't too many. All right, Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5 says, yea, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, right? And this is why he's everywhere in the world, colonizing and taking resources and all these different types of things, murdering people, stealing land. That's your history, right? It says, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death and cannot be satisfied. You always want more, even when it don't belong to you, but you're going to find a way to take it from others. Right? It says, begareth unto him all nations, and heateth unto him all people. All right, that's what you do, right? But this is what I was originally going to open up with, right? It's from Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil, right? Esau, the so-called white man, right, was made to be the wicked in the earth, right? The nation of people that the Most High despises, the one that he hates, pursuing to Malachi, all right? If you don't believe me, let's go get it. Right, the Most High hates the Edomites as a race of people, right? And that's what you so-called white people were made to be, right? All right, Malachi 1, and starting from, I'm just reading from the top. The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord Yahweh, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, right? And laid his mountain and his heritage, right? Esau and his whole family. Because some people say, oh, he's talking about the man Esau. Yeah, but his heritage, man. Everything that he has, everything about him the Lord hates. Right? So I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom, which is the nation of Esau, right, the Edomites, right, saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build, right? So he will allow you to build, right? Yeah, you will build, right? But I will throw down, right? So he's built up Esau to rule the earth right now. Okay, but the latter end of him is that the Most High is going to tear him down. Right? They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the peoples, right? The nation against whom the Lord have indignation forever. All right, so the Lord hates all Edomites, all around the globe, right? The Lord has not made any of them, not one of them, righteous, right? And that's why you get what's written in Obadiah, right? There should be none left because there's no righteous Edomite out there, right? The Lord hates the children of Esau. All right, so you was made to be the wicked, okay? And so you can't change. You can't change from what you are, and this is why you as much as you have polished your appearance to people in the world, okay, with you through your media, your public relations, or you putting on the suits, you're speaking more, you have spoken more, softer, right? Trump is losing his shit right now, right? So he's coming with madness, but you changed your tone, so to speak. You've changed your tone, but you yourself haven't changed. All right. So again, can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots? They may also do good that are accustomed to do evil. Okay, Esau is accustomed to do evil. That is throughout his whole history, right? And just because he says nice words to you, and he's against racism now, or whatever, whatever, whatever he's doing to convince you that he's changed, he hasn't really changed, and these old habits die hard, and that's why you always see these guys revert back to what it is they've always done, right? This is not unusual. Right, this is what you should expect of these so-called white people, of these Edomites. This is how they behave. Okay, it shouldn't be surprising or shocking, So this is Sirach chapter 12, verse 10. Says, "Never trust thine enemy." Right, Esau is an enemy, especially to us, specifically to the Israelite man and women, right? But to the whole world, he's an enemy because Esau don't give no shits, man. Okay, Esau will devour everyone, right? So never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Right? Rust doesn't go away. Okay, you can hide it, you can make it look, but it's still corroded. Okay, because it's gonna affect the whole thing. Right? So though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass. Right? So a looking glass back in the ancient time is a mirror, but it's not made out of glass. It's just made out of metal, very, highly polished metal. Right, you see the reflection in the thing, but because it's made out of metal, it oxidizes, it'll eventually rust, right, and it'll no longer be able to be reflective, right? But you can buff it out, a bit of rust comes, you can buff it out and you can make it shine again. You're just taking a few layers down off the metal, you make it like it's brand new again, right? But it hasn't solved the real issue. The fact that it's already started oxidizing, it's going to continue to oxidize, it's going to continue to rust, right? That rust is going to come back, right? So though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou should be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. It's not gone. Okay, you've merely polished it. Right, so he sort of polished up his act, right? We released you from slavery, and we like Negroes now, and yeah, don't say the N-word no more, and we're gonna give you jobs and benefits and all these things. It makes it seem like Esau's turned the corner, turned over a new leaf, that he's actually becoming civilized. Imagine that, right? He's actually becoming a reasonable fellow on the earth, right? But it's all a lie. It was all a facade. Okay, the Most High just had it, had it happen that way, right? For him just to revert back to what he truly is, man, which is just a demon. He's just a demon, right? This is verse 12. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith, right? These are things we're meant to, store in our head and like this is a certified truth that you meant to know that when you're dealing with Esau, when you're dealing with the enemy, right? But Esau's the king enemy, right? When you're dealing with Esau, bro, he ain't looking. He ain't gonna do no good. He ain't looking to do no one good, right? He ain't looking to be fair. He can't be trusted, right? He will do you harm, right? So this is a warning that we're meant to know within ourselves. But our people are gullible. Our people think or want to believe that Esau is somehow misunderstood. Like there's just a few bad Edomites out there. No, the whole race is corrupt. It's rusted, man. Given the opportunity, these Edomites will do you in, right? And you're gonna see this. You will see this when we get closer to that time. You know, all hell breaks loose and race wars and civil war and that type of shit. You're gonna see all of that, right? These Edomites are not with us, man. And if there's any so-called white people out there that are with us, man, that could be just the fact that they're Israelites in in leprous flesh. You know what I mean? That's all it could be, right? But these Edomites are not truly with us, man. Okay. Verse 13, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent or any such as come nigh a wild beast, right? Because you know the nature of the serpent, right? You know the nature of certain beasts, like they're not to be played with. They're not fucking pets. I know you got guys out there, befriending fucking cubs and lions and shit in captivity, right? Not in the wild, because them man never dare sit next to a fucking lion in the wild. But they're raising up these fucking things in captivity. But it's fucking dangerous, bro. At any moment, these things, they're fucking beasts, bro. You know what I mean? That any moment, the beast could turn, right? And yam you up, tear your limbs. You know what I mean? It could do all that, right? So you don't like. Certain these beasts are fucking dangerous, right? So you know not to play with them. And a snake is one of these ones you just fucking know that, man, it go fucking bite your ass, right? So you don't play around with snakes. You leave them alone. Right, and this is what you should do, Esau. Leave him the fuck alone. But the problem with Esau is he don't leave you alone, right? So he's gonna come up here and beguile you and pretend that you're your friend, and then when the opportunity comes in, he go fucking bite your ass. All right, that's what he does. Right? He doesn't want to leave nobody alone. But he's good. He goes around trying to convince you that he's there's nothing. He's safe. He's cool. He doesn't mean no one no harm. But all you gotta do is read his fucking history, and this is the way he always comes up. He comes up like a fucking serpent, subtile, and then bites you in the ass. That's what he does. That's what he's always done. All right, so he can't be trusted, right? So if just the same way the nature of a serpent, Esau is the exact same way. You should treat him the same fucking way, right? So it says, for a while he will abide with thee, but if you begin to fall, he will not tarry. So if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. He ain't looking to help you. He ain't gonna go through it with you, And so the friend can only be known in adversity. He ain't gonna be there. He ain't gonna be there in your adversity, man. He gonna be there being a part of your adversity, right? So the enemy, okay, speaking sweetly with his lips. So yeah, Esau, he's worked on how he talks to us and what he says to us and promises us things, and he doesn't say the N word no more. So it makes it seem like he's trying to be nice. He's he's looking out for us, and like he's for us, man. And that's just not the case, right? He's just speaking sweet things to beguile you, to deceive you, right? So, but in his heart, in his mind, he still thinks you're a low life nigger. 3/5 of a man, or whatever the fuck they used to tell us, man. They still look at us as lesser. All right, and it's evident in all these Edomites' faces. Okay, what they don't speak, okay, you can see it in their eyes, right? It's in their heart. That's how they look at us, man. Even if they don't say it. It says, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Right? So he's just looking to get one over you, man, all of that fucking time. Okay, if the opportunity presents itself, right? If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, right? It's like I said, he can be a part of your adversity. He gonna be there benefiting off your fucking downfall, man. Right? Thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance, right? You're going to see his true countenance. You're going to see what he truly feels and you know how he truly is. That rust. He is that rust, right? He is the snake, right? He will show you that, okay, when the time presents itself. Okay? So he can't change. He will never change. And like I said, all these behaviors that he's showing is just what he is. Crazy, you know what I mean? He's just fucking crazy, man. Right? This is Psalms chapter 10. Let's see. Verse 2, right? It says, the wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined, right? And this is why Esau's ultimately going to fail, because Esau, he wants to enslave everybody with the RFID hip, right? He wants control over everybody, right? But he's going to find himself in slavery, in hardcore slavery, right? He's going to find himself there, right? For the wicked boasts of his heart's desire. Yeah, we're going to take the oil. We're gonna take Greenland. We're gonna take Cuba. We're gonna take Venezuela. You know, we're gonna take all this shit, right? Esau wants to expand, right? And like I said, that's what you've done. You've gone around these different, these different lands, and you said to yourself, we're gonna take that land, and that's what you've done. You boasted of your heart's desire, and you go take it by violence, right? Because that's how you live, right? So for the wicked boasts of his heart's desire, right, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. Right? The Lord abhorreth the covetous. But here you got Trump spouting that fucking craziness. He want to take this, that, the third. But what's that got to do with you? That's not your land. Okay, America's not your land. You know what I mean? None of this shit belongs to you. And yet, like you calling yourself, God fearing and God's people and whatever. But Lord abhorreth the covetous. You just take. Iron up what everybody else has got. Oh, I'm gonna take the oil. He said that about another nation as well. We should have took the oil. It says the wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High. God is not in all his thoughts, right? And that's what you see. Oh, they men are doing all their prayers, this fucking seances or whatever, right? They're not to the Most High, right? This is to Satan, ultimately, right? The Most High is not in their thoughts. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. Right, his ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. Okay, they're not consulting the scriptures. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He has no respect for them. Right, he has said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. That's Trump right now, full of deceit and fraud and cursing. Yeah, he don't fucking stop. So under his tongue is mischief and vanity. All right. So I want to get from that. So that's that's what it is, man. This is how Esau is. It's Micah chapter 2. I'm just gonna get from verse 2 here, right? So, and they covet fields and take them by violence, right? You eye up fields, right, to take them of others, right? They covet fields. Oh, we're gonna take Carg Island. Or we're gonna take Gaza. We're gonna take Cuba. We're gonna take, bro, like, come on, man, chill. But no, there is no chilling with Esau. Esau doesn't chill. They covet fields and take them by violence, right? You live by the sword. And houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house. That's what you do around the earth. You oppress people, right? Even a man and his heritage. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall you go haughtily, for this time is evil. Okay? The bad things are coming your way. It's Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 9. I'm starting from verse 8, right? So because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all them that dwell therein. Because I say you go around and mess with everybody, man. Right? And like I said, this is how you are. You won't change. Okay, you won't change, right? It says, woe to him that converteth an evil covetousness to his house, right? That he may set his nest on high, right? Everything's for the benefit of the Edomites or America, however you want to frame it, you know, it's at everybody else's expense. So you're gonna do all this great evil and take and steal things from people so you can live good, even though these things don't belong to you, because all you're concerned about is yourself, right? And this is why Esau is just a cancer on the earth, man. And this is why the Most High is gonna get rid of him, because we're not going to operate like that. My man's moving like fucking Sauron, man. With the one ring, the one to control them all. He just wants to be at the fucking top. You know what I mean? He's gonna take and kill whatever he needs to do so he can stay on top. You know, the world's not meant to be like that, though. All right. So thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and stablish a city by iniquity. Okay, and that's just America, in its entirety, right? That's how America was founded. How is it gonna have a happy ending? It ain't, right? Because you went over to Americas and killed the natives. Okay, the tribe of Gad and the other tribes, right? That's what you killed them so you could take it for yourselves. And that's how you built your America, the United States of America, right? That's how it was built, upon blood and iniquity. The Lord says, woe, destruction, right? And that's exactly what's going to happen to the land of America. All right. This is Psalm 73, verse 7. Let me read up a little bit. I will read from verse 3, right? It says, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasseth about them, right? Trump's moving hella proud, right? He's more stout than his fellows, right? He's moving hella proud, man. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. We're just gonna blow them all up. Trump talking about, we're gonna turn Iran into hell, and this is why it's all funny, because America is gonna be turned into the lake of fire. Okay, what people envisage like that, like hell, right? But it's gonna be on earth, right? America is gonna become that lake of fire. America is gonna get turned into hell, you know. But these are all the threats that you're making against everybody else, because you currently have the power to do that, right? But the Most High gonna turn all that power back upon you, man, and so you destroy yourself, and you're gonna be uninhabitable. America will never rise from the ashes, bro. You're never gonna rise to prominence again. Edomites that are left are gonna be going straight into slavery. And that's gonna be it. That's gonna be the end of your story in terms of your dominion. Everything from then on, you're just gonna be remembered as a fucking deviant, man, as a demon deviant. That's in captivity because he's a demon and a deviant. It says verse 7, their eyes stand out with fatness, they have more than heart could wish. Bro, you're already doing, you elites, man, you're already fucking doing the most, right? You're already up there. Like, there is nothing that you need or want for, and yet it's in your mind, it's like you're sick. You man are sick in the head. Like, you still want more, and you still want to take from others, and you don't need to. Bro, you got enough money, bro. You could, I mean, how many generations could live off that? It's mad. Right? But you don't want no one else to live. Right? And so you're going to take more until everybody is suffering. As people are, more and more people are suffering now. Right? Because you're taking more and more and more. Just so you can live fatter, fatter, and fatter, but you don't. It's no noticeable difference to you. It doesn't change your life because you're already fucking mega rich already. And it's like we was going to at camp. It's like, you get to a certain amount of wealth, and it's like, what changes if you added more to it? Nothing really changes. It just sits in the bank and accumulates more wealth, but it doesn't do nothing for you. At that point, you might as well just call it a day, man. Like that money you're getting, you can give it to others. But that's not what you do. You go and fund projects and this and that, in ways to destroy people and steal resources. That's what you go around doing. Instead of giving, aid and whatever, charity or whatever, this is what you're really doing, man. You set up all these fucking charities. It's bullshit. You're out here trying to destroy people. Verse 8 said, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. It ain't nothing for Esau to go and murder a whole bunch of people or to oppress a bunch of people. It ain't nothing to him. Trump spouting like, oh, we're going to tackle the infrastructure and shit. Like, bro, that's, one, that's a war crime anyway. But like these men don't care about international law. But anyway, that they set up. But anyway, but that affects the people, like the civilians. So he doesn't care like the effects of waging war and how many people how many lives it's going to cost. He don't care about all of that. Like he'll put embargoes or tariffs and just crippling your nation. It affects the poor of those nations. It doesn't affect the rich really. These leaders, them man are all right. They got money. They can take the hit. They ain't gonna worry about food, getting food and keeping the lights on or nothing like that. They're good. But the civilians now, the poorer of them, man, they're struggling and dying and shit. The old, all these different people, they're struggling and dying out of your actions. But you don't care about that. Because on the surface, it doesn't look very aggressive. It just, it's like, well, we're just punishing the regime. But no, you're punishing the whole nation. Because you're hoping that they're going to put pressure on overthrowing the government. But that's a war. It's a war move, bro. It's it's causing people to die, and you're the reason for it. But like I say, they don't care. They don't care about all of that. Pardon me. So they set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Pardon me. All right. Just one more left. We'll close up. This is from Sirach chapter 14, verse 9. Let me read up a little bit. Let me read from verse 3, right? It says, riches are not company for a niggard, and what should an envious man do with money? These men are fucking super rich, man, but you're niggards, man, i.e. stooges, cheapskates, right? You don't want to distribute that wealth at all. Like, you got so much, like, you ain't gonna, like, there's so much you could give, and you wouldn't even fucking notice it, because like I say, there's so much money, right? These elites got, right? But you don't do good with your money, right? So he says, what should an envious man do with money? The man that wants everything. He's jealous of what everybody else has got, even though you got more than them. It's fucking crazy, right? But truly, what you truly want, you can't get, because it can't be bought with money, which is the blessing of the Lord. That's what it is. You're trying to emulate that, but there's not enough money in the world to emulate that, right? There's no way to emulate the blessing of the Lord. You think that, yeah, if I get all of this, if I get enough money, I can take, get an army and take this land, take these resources and get everything, the fatness of the earth, which you've got the fatness of the earth, but it's just not the same as what the Lord's elect are going to receive. The true blessing of the Lord, you ain't going to receive that, and you can't emulate that. It doesn't matter how much money you got. It doesn't matter how big your military is or how much bombs you got. It don't matter. But you're so obsessed with trying to kind of one-up us, i.e. the Israelites, that you've gone insane, man. You're insane. You're insane. All right. This is verse 4. He that gareth by defrauding his own soul gareth for others that shall spend his goods riotously, right? So all this wealth and all this, you're going to lose it all. And it's all going to have to go back. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? he shall not take pleasure in his goods. There is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness, right? So all these things that Esau looks like he's doing, like he's out there trying to help people, and he's thinking about the well-being of the people. It's all bullshit, because really the only reason why he's doing it is because it fulfills his own agenda of creating this new world order, and that's the only reason why he's doing it, to get to his goals, which is going to end up ultimately putting you all in slavery, right? That's what it is. He would declare his wickedness, right? Verse 8, the envious man have a wicked eye, right? Esau has a wicked eye. He turneth away his face and despiseth men. A covetous man's eye is not satisfied with his portion. Like, even though he has everything, he can't obtain the blessing, and this is why he wants more, because he knows like what he's got now doesn't even compare to that still, right? And so he just wants more, right? But again, it's gonna be at the cost of everybody else. When we get the blessing, man, it ain't gonna be at the cost of everybody else, where everyone else has to suffer for it, and it's not gonna be set up like that. Yeah, we're gonna be megally blessed, right? We're gonna be crazy blessed, right? But the whole world doesn't need to be destroyed in order for us to be blessed. Like, everybody don't need to be living in a fucking hole in the ground, right? So that we can be blessed. No, when we're blessed, everybody else, all these other nations will only be blessed, because they're gonna have a righteous rulership in the earth, right? Which is gonna benefit everybody, right? And the scripture tells you those that bless Israel will be blessed, right? So as long as everyone's acting right and keeping the laws like they're supposed to be, everyone's gonna be cool. With Esau in charge, bro, everyone has to suffer for them to be successful and to be, as powerful as they are. Because they're parasites. They drain everything. They drain from everything. Okay, Israel, the kingdom of Israel, the kingdom of heaven, ain't gonna need to do that. Ain't gonna need to do that. Oh yeah, you're gonna bring in your tithes, your tribute and stuff like that. Yeah, sure, you're gonna. But it's like all these other empires, like the Roman Empire. That's what they did with these people. They asked for tribute. Then at the begin with, it'd be like, yeah, it's doable. It might be a lot, but it's doable. But after a while, because Rome was failing, they asked more and more and more from these little ass tribes, and they were fucking suffering, man. They couldn't feed themselves over the winter and shit. Okay, because Rome was parasitic, and normally it fell. Same way Esau's gonna fall, and he's doing the exact same fucking thing. These elites are parasitic, right? And it just crushes everybody, right? Like I said, the Israelites, when they're in power, don't need to run like that. They ain't gonna run like that, right? Again, verse 9, we're going to finish it up. A covetous man's eye is not satisfied with his portion. Right? Because I say what he truly wants is the blessing, and he can't have that. And so he doesn't he doesn't chill. Right? He stays on smoke, right? So and the iniquity of the wicked drive up his souls. A wicked eye envieth his bread, and he is a niggard at his table. Stingy as fuck. Right? But that's pretty much it, though. And like I said, this is just it's just Esau in a nutshell, right? Take the oil, do this, take that, take this. You don't deserve it. Greenland, though, yeah, you can't even defend it, so you don't deserve to have it. We should have it. You know what I mean? It's just like, bro, you need to just chill. But like I said, Esau can't chill. Esau can't chill, right? But like I said, this ends in his own demise. But like I said, this is how he's always been. All right, so ain't nothing gonna change. He's still the same devil. Don't be fooled, right? And Trump is just a shining example of that right now in the public. You know what I mean? Shining example. But anyway, I'm gonna end it there. Lord, when this has been edifying, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters in the next video. Until next time, I say shalom.